Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a factory video game in Roblox, a book about a massive escape room, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Max Crumit! Max is a civil engineer and used to be the director of the Orlando Orange County Expressway Authority. You know those e-pass toll roads? Cool.
Thank you, Tiberius. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for that great introduction.
You're welcome.
All right.
Well, today we're going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be a build.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Now it's time for the video game of the week. Today's video game is Item Factory. This game is made by Nico Squared. Because it is on Roblox, you are able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free! You may remember Nico Squared from his other games Tycoon Simulator and Assassin's Royale. This is a very interesting game. So first off, I am standing there looking at a conveyor belt and you start it up. It takes some iron, makes a level 1 sword. And then it drops down and sells it. It does all of this automatically. So as it earns money, I can upgrade stuff like the molder to change what I'm making, the upgrader to determine the level of the item, and you can upgrade an enchanter to add special effects to the weapon, and an appraiser to determine the value of the item. You can intercept the item before it is sold and take it to your inventory. After a few levels, you can go to an island and test it out against mobs. At first it looked boring, but then I got my first legendary item. Now, this was a game changer. If you die to a mob, your stuff drops on the ground and other players can take it from you. It's no fun. So I got my dad to play and he leveled up really fast. He gave me lots of cool weapons to play with. I mean like pew-pew. So it was kind of cool to be on the side of making the weapons instead of just, stealing them from other people. I give Item Factory 10 out of 10 stars because I liked upgrading my conveyor belt to make super powerful weapons.
10 out of 10.
It was also fun to play with my dad and get free stuff to give to my friends. See David Smith Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
The website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
And now it's time for the book of the week, The Game Master's Summer Schooled. This book is written by Matt and Rebecca Zamolo. Numbers at the back of the book. In fact, Max, would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely. Thank you. Rebecca Zamola is on a mission to save her summer. Instead of going to camp like she'd planned, she's been stuck in summer school. But today is the day. She's going to present her final science assignment using her Nana's borrowed vintage Zoetrope. And then she'll be free to have fun. But a menacing voice comes over the intercom, has other plans. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sounds exciting.
Yep. Well, this is not an AR book, so you don't get any points for reading it, but it was such a fun puzzle book. So it starts with Becca trying to finish her summer school, but instead held captive in the school by someone calling themselves the Game Master. Now Becca now has to solve puzzles with her friends to escape the school and enjoy her summer. It was cool when they were trying to, get out of the algebra room because they needed to work with the people in the lunchroom to solve the problem. They found out that the key was in a cupcake because of a science experiment, but that was just in another room. Well, this book is so much fun, it only took me 2 days to read it. I had a hard time putting it down, though, so that's probably why. I think kids that like puzzles and love puzzles and escape rooms should really enjoy this book. Well, I give the Game Master Summer School 10 out of 10 stars because it was really cool that Becca was so strong and fearless. Then when she left the school, she was looking like a boss.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Okay, now it's time for our interview of an interesting person. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Max Crumit! Max is a civil engineer and used to run the Orlando-Orange County Expressway Authority. So he's going to be able to tell us all about how the E-Pass tolls work. So first off, how are you, Max, enjoying being on the show?
Oh, so far great. Couldn't be better.
Yeah. Okay, so you are a civil engineer. So can you tell my listeners what that means?
Well, civil engineering is a broad range of specialties. You know, you have structural engineers. You have structural engineers that design bridges. You have structural engineers that build bridges. You have structural engineers that design buildings. And you have structural engineers that of course, build them. I was a transportation engineer. I focused on roads and bridges during my career.
That makes sense, because you were an E-Pass person. So how does that make the world a better place?
Everything that a society needs to function on, everything that they need in order to undertake commerce and business are provided by engineers. In my opinion, engineers make other people's lives better. Could you imagine a world without aeronautical engineers, so there would be no planes? Without civil engineers, there'd be no buildings or roadways. So electrical engineers, there would be no computers, no radio. Oh my goodness. So engineers do make everyone's life better.
That is true. So how long have you been doing this?
I graduated from college in 1984.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what made you know that this was the go-to job for you?
I grew up working construction, and I always wanted to know how to build really big things. I wanted to learn to build really big things and to make people's lives better, like I said earlier. I was always well-versed in mathematics, and so I thought it was a good choice for me.
Nice. So does it take a lot of formal training to be able to be a civil engineer?
It does. It does. In some states, you're allowed to become a civil engineer without college, but it's a very lengthy process. It's 10 years working under an engineer, and then you have to sit down for 2 days of testing to become a licensed civil engineer. In Florida, if you get a degree from an accredited college in engineering, you take what's known as an engineering interim exam, which is a full day testing, and then you work under an engineer for 4 years, and then you can sit for your professional engineering exam. So yes, it's very lengthy.
Wow. So you became the director of the Expressway Authority. So how was it to be the boss?
I never really saw myself as the boss. They have a tremendous staff at the Expressway Authority, and they all are really, really good at their jobs. And I didn't really see myself as a boss, just someone there trying to provide some direction for the Expressway.
Nice. So I really wanted to talk to you because, well, I really want to understand, why do we have to pay tolls on some roads and not others?
Well, the funding for them. For instance, there's 3 ways that you can pay for public infrastructure, which roads is being one of them. One would be that it's paid for by the government through taxes, right? Whether those be general use taxes, ad valorem taxes, or gas taxes, right? And then you have private sector investment, but the private sector isn't going to invest in roads unless they receive a benefit from it. Like they may build a road in order to develop a piece of property that they're going to sell, for single family residential homes, but they're not going to come in and build major interstates.
Oh, yeah.
And the third is tolls, which, interestingly enough, gas taxes are a shadow toll. Now, when Eisenhower came back after World War II and became president and decided to build the interstate, they were going to toll the interstate. But they did a cost-benefit analysis and realized that the cost of manning these toll booths with employees was just going to be too expensive. And so someone came up with the idea of, well, all cars and trucks that use this use, fuel. Why don't we tax the fuel? So we will get taxes, i.e. tolls, but through a different source so they don't have to stop and pay a toll.
That makes sense. Okay, so I know that the tolls can go to pay to build the road, but what happens afterwards? Why are we paying tolls after the road has been paid for?
Great question, Tiberius. That's
Is it
probably
because there's going to be more roads built?
That's in part to keep up with demand. As Florida and Central Florida has grown, it's been determined that they need more roads. So they use the system pledge of all the tolls in order to fund the new ones. The other reason is maintenance. It's like a cell phone. Once AT&T pays for all its cell towers, should they stop charging you a monthly fee for your cell phone?
No,
because they have to maintain their communication systems.
then they could just make more cell towers and have more internet.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with transportation.
Oh, yeah. So has a toll road ever decided that they collected enough money and switched to a non-toll road?
Absolutely.
Which one?
This was on I-95 in Jacksonville.
Ooh.
In Jacksonville, there were toll roads there, and they passed they had a vote, and they decided to remove the tolls and give the toll roads back to the state, Florida Department of Transportation, thereby making them free. There have been some, but someone always has to step up to maintain the integrity of the system to make sure it's safe and dependable. You don't want a toll road to stop maintaining the bridges and the pavement and everything else. You don't want any road to do that.
What if... Yeah, because I remember one time we were driving to Boardwalk Bowl and we didn't have an e-pass ticket or any other thing that we could use. So we completely avoided the tolls. Was that bad for the government?
No, it wasn't bad, but I'll tell you what, these people at the Expressway Authority, Central Florida Expressway Authority it's called now, they are so great, you can drive on it without an e-pass and they'll mail you a bill. Yes, it's called toll by plate. They're phenomenal at it.
Wow, I did not know that. So who owns the road? Doesn't the government own all of them?
It is a government organization, the Expressway Authority. It was state legislation created the authority, and it is a public entity, and it functions under the rules of all public agencies. Yes.
Cool. So can I build my own road and charge people to use it? The Tiberius Expressway.
There are many examples of private toll roads and public-private partnerships. The I-4 express lanes that are being constructed right now is a great example of a public-private partnership. The private sector came in and built in the process of finishing building the express lanes and the improvements to I-4 through Orlando. They used their money. The state is going to pay them back over 40 years, but the tolls for the express lane, the state gets to keep those. So they will, the people building the...
people would get the money back.
Yes, over a 40-year period. It's called an availability
That
payment.
makes sense. Now that you used to run e-pass, does that mean you never have to pay for tolls again?
Absolutely not. Even when I was working there, I had to pay my own tolls. Yes.
I don't think that's fair.
No one gets to ride for free.
I mean, life isn't fair anyway, so who cares? So what is the best part about being a civil engineer?
Challenges. Every day there's a challenge. Whether it's finding the least expensive and most efficient way to design something to be built, the fact that you're helping people. I mean, there's too many things that's great about being a civil engineer. The water you drink, the wastewater that's being treated and put back so it's not an environmental hazard. Civil engineers.
What's the hardest part now?
The hardest part now of being a civil engineer? Everything is enjoyable. You work hard, but it's not necessarily hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what is the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your job?
The craziest thing that happened while I was doing my job. I would say that a man came in one day and had said that he was charged with violating a toll for not paying, the mail-in ticket. And he said, I didn't pay it because I carpool with my neighbor, and the day you said I went through, I didn't use my car. Come to find out, his daughter did.
Wow.
So it was a little embarrassing for him once we showed him the pictures of his car and the plate number and so forth. So.
Wow. Okay, so in your bio, I learned you are running a different company now. So can you tell me more about that?
Sure. Thank you for asking. The company is called Slot Channel US. I partnered with a German company called Bettenwerk, New Ulm, and they developed a manufacturing process to precast what we call here in the United States trench drain. Trench drain in the United States in large sizes is poured in place, so it's actually constructed where it's going to be. We have a process that precasts these trench drains, so it's like laying reinforced concrete pipe or pipe right on grade. So it makes it much more quicker, and it also is less expensive than conventional trench drain.
That makes sense. So how does moving water around make the thing better?
Well, have you ever walked through a puddle you didn't want to walk through?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a flood on a street?
Yeah.
Okay, so
actually a couple days ago.
There you go. So these are very efficient drains, and they get the stormwater off the pavement as quickly as possible. Makes things safer.
Yeah, but it was like straight flooded.
Yeah.
The drains were like barely working.
You see, they need
were almost
more
all filled.
slot channels, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were almost like all filled. Like they were all filled to the brim. And then it stopped raining.
There you go.
How is slot channel different from, say, normal drains, and how it has been done for years?
Well, a couple of things. Most stormwater systems collect the water at a point source. So you slope the pavement to the point source, which is the inlet. Okay? Slot channels pick up the water, collect the water along the way. So it's like a continuous vertical inlet. Inlet. So, I mean horizontal
vertical.
Inlet. Yes. No, not vertical. I made a mistake.
Horizontal?
It's horizontal. Continuous inlet. So it doesn't have the point source. So it collects the water.
So it kind of like goes down.
Yes. It collects the water along the way, getting the
So I'm guessing there's like a speed bump there.
No speed bump. No speed bump.
Because, I mean, I know that you have to cross it,
Yeah. They
You
can
like
be
go
on the
down.
side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what if they're in the road?
That's better still. It collects the water faster
True.
than
It
it's
does.
off the road.
So what was the first job that you ever had?
In civil engineering or period? My first job at 15,
Sure.
I worked at a dry cleaner for 1 year.
Oh.
And after that,
I mean, you didn't look like one.
dry cleaner. And then I built homes. Homes
Nice, cool.
as a carpenter.
So was there anything you learned from that job that helped you be a better civil engineer?
Well, civil engineering, probably not, but customer service, yes. You should always do your best to please your customer.
Cool. So who helped motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
I would say teachers and friends. They were great examples. They encouraged me, and I think teachers are unsung heroes. Teachers are responsible for every profession being there. Where would you wouldn't have doctors if you didn't have teachers.
We didn't. Yeah, we would. We wouldn't. That is true. Teachers save our lives.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. I mean, I literally had an F in language arts. I've now got it up to a B because of my teachings.
That's great.
So going back to ePass, why is there a camera there? Like, why can't they just pay by plate every time?
It's more expensive, so it takes administrative costs to send out a bill, right?
That makes sense.
And so, but if it's done electronically, it's all seamless, and they can keep the tolls lower that way.
Oh, no. So what advice would you give my listeners if they wanted to grow up and be a civil engineer? Or an ePass president?
Study hard in mathematics. Study hard in everything, but really focus in mathematics. Engineering is very mathematically
forget the
oriented.
other two subjects, just focus on math.
No, don't forget the other two, but really focus on math.
Yeah. So if you had to do a different job from the one that you are already doing, what would it be?
A radio show host, of course.
Wow. So if you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
What would it be? Spend more time with family and friends.
Smart.
Yeah.
So when you're not working, what do you do for fun? Play video games?
No video games. Sorry, Tiberius, but I read a lot, and I golf. Yes, and
Have you gotten a hole-in-one?
I've never had a hole-in-one.
I have hit a hole-in-one.
In putt-putt or a real golf course?
Real golf course.
Wow.
With the driver.
Wow. That's impressive.
I mean, it was kind of bouncing at the end.
That doesn't matter. Hole-in-one's a hole-in-one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have to buy Cokes for all your friends?
Well, I was bowling with my grandparent.
Oh, okay.
Well, bowling. Golfing.
Yes.
With also my dad. So I hit a hole-in-one there, and I was
that's
super
great.
happy. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid show, so not inappropriate stuff. But that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
A woman came up to me at the grocery store, and she said, "Hi, Max, how are you?" And I go, "Fine." I thought I'd never met her before. She asked how my wife was. She asked how my kids were. And then my wife comes around the corner, and my wife asked me to introduce her to the woman, and I didn't know her name. So I just said, "I'm sorry, your name escapes me." And she was very offended. It was very embarrassing for me. So yes,
So
that's
what was
an
her
embarrassing.
name?
I don't remember.
So her name was I don't remember?
That's very witty of you.
Is there
Very
anything
witty of
else
you.
you think my listeners should know about you?
Oh, that our product, Slot Channel US, is a great product. Less expensive, more efficient than conventional drainage systems.
You have a Facebook or a website for my listeners who want to follow you?
I'm not on Facebook, but I am on LinkedIn, and we have slotchannelus.com if
The
you want to
last
look
person
at.
that we had was also at LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good little
yeah.
networking
So
platform.
no Facebook, huh?
No Facebook.
Looks like we can't text each other then. So what was the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Have you always been this funny and interesting?
So have you?
I suppose so.
That was kind of funny. Like, wait a second, was that a question for me or you? Because it confused me a little bit. But thank you, Max, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
I sure can.
Are you good at math?
I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education and independent life skills.
and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you, Max, for having me with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about linear equations. So, last week, we talked about one-variable equations. Today, we're going to talk about two-variable equations and where the resulting graph always forms a straight line. Now, this definition is important. If the answers for a problem do not make a straight line, then it's not a linear question. So, there's an easy way to find out. When you look at the terms in the equation, you can see if there's any exponents. For an equation to be linear, all terms must have an exponent of 1. If all terms in variable only have an exponent of 1, then the graph paper will be a line. So an example would be 2x minus y equals 0. So to solve this equation, you want to first get one variable by itself on one side. So add the y from both sides and you get 2x equals y. So now you put in a value for x to get the first point. So now let's put 0 as x. Well, 2 times 0 is 0, so y is 0. Now you can graph the point 0, 0. Well, that was easy, right? Now I have to do a different number for x. Let's see here. Let's try 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, so if x is 2, then y equals 4. Now, graphing that point on the graph. So now there's the fun part. Using a ruler, you can draw a line that connects the 2 points. You will see that when x is 1, then y equals 2. And then x is 3, y is 6, and so forth. You can see all of the parts where the lines just go 1 forever. I really enjoy graphing lines. Maybe better than geometry. So Math, do you now know all about solving linear questions?
I do, Tiberius, and you must tell your listeners, that the y-axis is vertical and the x-axis is horizontal, right?
That is true. My teacher says that I would use math every day. Do you have to use math as a civil engineer?
Absolutely. You have to use math to find what type of weight is going to be held up by these buildings, bridges, and so forth. So math is a very integral part of engineering.
It is. So thank you so much, Max, for your help with Math Corners.
Happy to do it.
And now it's time for the heart of the lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, nobility. Today, we're going to talk about leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. This week, I saw leadership in my music teacher, Mrs. Sweet. She was working on the Christmas program at my school and worked very hard to get all of our students to learn the correct songs with the dance moves. But not all the students are in the class at the same time. So she would have to ensure which kids are learning which songs and somehow get them all ready, all to do their performance in the correct order. She did all of this with a smile on her face the entire time. Wow, such dedication. And that's also really showing a lot of guidance and direction. The event was awesome, and each class gave their performance, and we ended it all with students singing at one time together for 2 different songs, Joy to the World and What a Beautiful Name It Is. So of all of the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
Well, I used to tell my son and my daughter that you should always be honest, respectful, happy, successful, in that order. So integrity, I would think, would be the most important.
Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855.
Hey, that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Max Crumit for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today, and I really appreciate all that we got to learn today about toll roads and how that works. Next time that we go through a toll, me and my father, I will be sure to smile at the camera because we finally got an E-Pass ticket.
Well, thank you for having me, Tiberius, and check me out on LinkedIn and visit our website, slotchannelus.com.
Sweet. Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and subscribe. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer Joseph Boy, production editor Pierre Laguerre, Green Room manager Danny Boy, and your program host Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.